Ваше Високосте, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad al-Thani, Emir Держави Qatar,
Emir of the State of Qatar, my dear friend.
Дякую за підтримку, за
Thank
нещодавну
you for your
нашу
support
розмову.
and our recent conversation.
Поважності, учасники.
Your Excellencies, participants of the Doha Forum, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to address you with the traditional words in the Gulf region, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be to you. Peace, this is the fundamental value, a value uniting all people on earth, and which is not accessible to people in my country, because the leadership of the Russian Federation decided to capture Ukraine and make it its colony, like in the old days of empires, when they came and brutally took what is not theirs. Russia is bigger than Ukraine 28 times. Russia is the biggest country in the world. And it turns out that it is not enough for them. Russian leadership wishes to take our territory as well, our resources, our people as their labor force. But now, for the 31st day, consecutive day, Ukraine has been withstanding the aggression of the country, which is 28 times bigger, which has spent decades preparing for the war, and a huge amount of money for that. But is Russian predatory appetite finishing in Ukraine? That has never been the case with colonial empires, which have never been content with only one country. They have always took their aggression to others, capturing what they could. They capture what was within their region, various regions worldwide. The theme of this year's forum in the wonderful, peaceful, and respectful city of Doha is devoted to challenges for the new era, but regrettably not everyone on our planet regards reality adequately and understand that we have to prepare ourselves for new times. Russia, as we can see, wants to bring us back to the time when the peace and equal being of all peoples on earth was impossible. Can we admit this? During the 20th century, the world developed a whole system of international structures that are supposed to guarantee justice in every country. Justice. I'm confident that all of you feel the power and meaning of this word, and all of us are working to ensure that there is more justice for your peoples and for the whole world. But we cannot find justice in the world for 31 days now. After the full-scale invasion of the country, which is 28 times bigger, we are defending our country on battlefields on our own. I thank the United Nations General Assembly and all those countries who support resolutions based on the principle of justice against the Russian aggression against Ukraine and its terrible repercussions. But we see that the United Nations and other international institutions do not have necessary force to restore back the basic value for all peoples, to bring back peace. Because now the voice of those privileged is still louder than the voice of the few. That is not justice. That is not justice. Because Russia is doing this against Ukraine. That cannot be called justice. They are intimidating us with the usage of nuclear weapons. And Russia does so deliberately. They are bragging that they can destroy with nuclear weapons not only a certain country, but the entire planet. Currently, the world is waging a very serious discussion on the political level that Russia might use tactical nuclear weapon or other weapon of mass destruction, particularly chemical weapons. In 1990s, Ukraine renunciated the world's third biggest nuclear stockpile, and that was the biggest contribution into the global protection against the nuclear catastrophe which has ever been done. And in exchange for that, our country received written assurances of security from the most powerful countries of the world, Russia included. But these assurances did not become guarantees. And in fact, one of these countries who were supposed to be the guarantors and promised us security started the war against Ukraine. And this is the ultimate manifestation of injustice that you can possibly imagine. So what is the conclusion that other countries make from this? Is it the conclusion that everyone needs nuclear weapons in order to protect themselves against the invasion? That is very hazardous for everyone. We need a genuine reform of international institutions, mechanisms of the United Nations to guarantee security, to ensure that those 28 times bigger do not think that they can do whatever they want, and to ensure that the nuclear status of a country is not used as a permit to do injustice to other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with you at a time when the world is trying to overcome the terrible pandemic, which spares no one, no country, and no social statuses. It has been indiscriminate until the world developed the necessary vaccines. Injustice spreads just like the virus does. If it is not stopped, if we neglect it, then it will affect all countries and all people. Look at the cities of Ukraine, which Russian army is devastating. Look, for example, at our city of Mariupol. This is exactly what we have seen at the city of Aleppo in Syria: ruins, rubble, pain, and the destruction of peoples. Ukraine is a country of diversity and peaceful coexistence of nationalities and religions. In our country, more than 1 million Muslims live, and Russian rockets and air bombs are a hazardous peril to our peoples. In the city of Mariupol alone, which is blocked by Russia, 4,000 Muslims live. And now there are also many women, children, and people of advanced age sheltering. And all the roads to the city are blocked. Russian troops do not allow to the city even humanitarian cargo. No food, no water, no medicine. Around the clock, the city is being bombed and shelled. 90% of all buildings in Mariupol have been already destroyed. Thousands of people are dead. But Russia's invasion still remains unchecked. And I can also remind you that Russia has not been punished for what it has done in our Crimea after it captured it. And in Crimea, Russian repressions are aimed exactly against the Muslim population of the peninsula. Over 31 days of this war, the Russian strikes have damaged at least 59 buildings of worship. These are mosques, churches, and religious educational institutions, 200, and you cannot be insured if there is a physical sparsity of food. The Russian troops are covering fields in Ukraine with mines. They are exploding agrarian equipment. They are destroying our ports. They are destroying all of our resources needed for agriculture. Why are they doing this? Our country will have enough food still, but the absence of exports from Ukraine will deal a severe blow to many countries worldwide, to the Muslim world, to Latin America and other countries worldwide. The invader is trying to take back its old privileges, and we should not allow the sparsity of food in the world because of this war. Therefore, the sanctions policy against Russia, all the limitations that have been imposed against this country are aimed only at ensuring that Russia starts suing for peace, ensuring that Russia does not pose a threat. I urge all countries to join us here. Russia has to sue for peace. It has to abandon all attempts to break down global stability and trying to restore the abhorrent habits of those who wanted to capture colonies and impose inequality. This is also a question of abandoning the usage of Russian oil and gas. Responsible states, like the state of Qatar, are reliable and solid exporters of energy resources, and they can make their contribution to the stabilization in Europe. They can do much to restore justice. The future of Europe rests with your efforts. It depends on your efforts. I ask you to increase the output of energy to ensure that everyone in Russia understands that no country can use energy as a weapon and to blackmail the world. In a week, there starts a sacred month for all Muslims, the Ramadan. I do not have to explain to you the momentousness and importance of this time. All the world reveres this month and has profound respect for it. But now the Muslims of Ukraine are forced to protect their country and their freedom with arms at their hands. In this sacred month, we have to exert even more efforts to ensure that Russia's use for peace. We have to have an anti-war coalition, do it all together, to ensure that this sacred month of Ramadan is not overshadowed by misery and pain of people in Ukraine and by the devastation of our cities. We need to do it to give people an impossibility to prepare themselves, to brace themselves for the new era and not adapt to the old abhorrent realities, predatory wars, famine.
Thank you.